what's up guys? Long time no see, Dylan with E7 Music School here, and today we're going to be going over Man in the Box by Alice in Chains. This song was a comment request that I saw a while back, and I figured we'd give it a shot now. Song doesn't really need any introduction. It's great for like that intermediate level. Even beginners could probably do this if you are like trying to inch towards that intermediate level. So there's going to be some techniques we're going to talk about. They're going to be really beneficial for you to use later on too, even if you're just going back and playing like some easy songs, or if you're trying to advance yourself in your drumming career-ish kind of thing. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. Alright, sweet. So that whole beginning section that I just showed you guys is going to bring us to about 40 seconds. That beat's going to continue longer, but I just want to talk about some stuff really quick. So if you notice in the beginning there's that fill. It's kind of hard for me to play that and then press play on the music. So I want you to know that it's there though, so whenever you go to play it, that you know it's there. So it goes like this basically. So it's just tom, snare, crash. You can do that with a China if you have one, or you can do that with a crash. Any really crashes, right? It's just important to know that those toms are high in floor, and then you have snare and crash, kind of like a 1 2 1, that kind of thing. 1 2 1, and that's going to bring you into the beat, which is played like this. So after that fill, 1 2 3 4. So the way I like to think of this is bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare, bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare. So you're going to be working on kind of like the independence right here. So just remember bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare, and then you're pretty much set for like the rest of the beat there. Bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare, bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare, bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare. This is one of the like key like core beats of the song, so if you need to really work on this one, don't be afraid to take some time and really get it down. But we're just gonna go ahead and continue and pretend as if we've already got it down. So let's do 4 of those, and then when we get to that 4th time through that beat, there's something different, and let me show you that. 1 2 3 4. So it's just and a 1 on the hi-hat, and a 1. You do that right, left, right, right, left, right. So bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare, right, left, right. You could do that one-handed if you want to, just to show off like your one-handed skills. Right? And then you can just do it either way pretty much. But I think two-handed kind of looks cooler. I just like the style of it. It's just really important to remember that every 4 times we play the beat, so 1, right, 2, 3, 4. That's not gonna change whenever you're playing this beat, okay? So that's gonna play over that whole like intro section and also the main verse. There's one fill we need to go over. We're gonna go ahead and jump to that right now. So I'll see you guys there. So we're going to jump to 30 seconds in the song. Just like I said earlier, that whole first section is pretty much the same beat. There's no crashes, no nothing. It's all going to be just that same thing. If you want to add stuff, you're totally welcome to do that. But let me just go ahead and show you this next fill, and then we'll take it from there. So 30 seconds, let me show you that. So that's going to be it, just a double kick, and we have an extra bass there, or two extra basses technically. So on that 4, it's 4. So this one's going to get a little complicated pretty quick if we start breaking it down too much. So I just like to take that same part of the beat, bass, snare, bass, and. That's all going to stay the same, right? So bass, snare, bass, and. And then you can either think of this next part as double kick or double bass. Right? So if you need some extra help with double kicks, I think we have a double kick tutorial on the channel already, so I'll try to leave a link to that in the description if I remember to. But yeah, no, basically double kicks is you're getting 2 kicks out of 1 motion with your foot. You could do this without doing it, but I think the double kick is kind of necessary here, because just doing it, like trying to get 2 kicks like that fast is kind of hard. Okay, so bass, snare, bass, and double kick. You can think double kick or double snare, right? I say double kick because it has like 3 syllables and this is 3 hits, so double kick, and then kick is just kind of snare. You can think double snare. If that makes things a little bit easier on you because you're doing double and then a snare. Okay, and then after that we have that same and a 1, but this time you're just adding basses to the right hand. And a 1, and a 1, and a 1. So if you notice, every time that I do that right hand on that 1, 2, 3, I'm doing a kick. So that's that section pretty much. Let me just go ahead and play that a couple times through. Cool. So I just want to mention something right here. All of this beat is going to be heavy hi-hat. I'm playing it with the closed hi-hat just to make sure that the hits are a little bit more audible and clearer. Because if I was playing heavy hi-hat, it's kind of hard to notice like where those are going, right? But if I play it a little bit closed, all of a sudden it clears everything up and you can really hear where that goes. But just letting you know, heavy hi-hat is this entire section. You can really hear that in the song too, where it's like rattling and not so much of like a tick, it's like rattling. Okay, so we made that part, so let's just go ahead and continue listening to this next part. I'll go ahead and play it too, and then we'll get to the pre-chorus. I call it, it's kind of like a pre-chorus basically. Get all the way up to where he says fill it in with, you know what I'm trying to say there. And once we get to that part there, you're gonna hear this fill. So just going over that, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3. So let's just go over that. So that 4th measure, once we get to there, this is how it goes. So it's bass, bass, crash. And that's a choke there. It's kind of optional. Just know that you don't really have to do them for the song to still sound good. Like if I did this fill without the choke, right, it still is the same thing, it's just not the choke. It's just an added level of like texture and taste that you can really throw into the song if you want to, but kind of optional. So anyways, that fill, bass, bass, crash, or you can think bass, bass, choke if you want, bass, bass, crash, and then you're gonna have high, mid, floor, bass, flam. Sometimes I think that bass in between there is really good. So like bass, bass, crash, bass, high, mid, floor, bass, flam. I like that. It is not in the song, but I think if you add that bass there, it's not really gonna like affect anything. And it kind of just gives you like that next like lead into it. Right? If you don't want to do it, I mean, it doesn't really like change that fill too much. It's just adding the extra bass. So bass, bass, crash, high, mid, floor, bass, snare, or bass, bass, crash, bass, high, mid, floor, bass, flam, either way, it doesn't really affect the thing. Or if you want to be accurate to the song, and you just crash with bass after you're done with that. So one more time, bass, bass, crash, high, mid, floor, bass, flam, high, mid, floor, bass, flam. I would practice that run on its own, but I'm sure you guys aren't going to have a problem with that, and if you do, just go back, right, slow it down, break it down, do all that good stuff. And let's just go ahead and continue on to the next part, which is that ride section. So this ride section sounds like this without music. 1, bass and bass snare, bass, bass snare, 2, bass snare, 3, bass snare, crash and bass snare. Let's just go ahead and break that part down. So let's do this in 2 parts. So that first part, so bass and snare and bass, bass, snare, bass and bass snare, bass and snare and bass, bass snare, crash and bass snare, crash and snare and bass, bass snare, crash and bass snare. Right? So after that, we're going to do 3 bass, bass snares. This is kind of like the second section almost. So bass, bass snare, and bass, bass snare, and bass, bass snare, and 3 times. So let's just put those together. 1, 2, 3. And right there on that third one, that and bass, bass snare, and you're going to crash. So putting those together again. 2, 3. Okay, so one more time. 1, 2, 3. Right, that's that third one. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So on that third one, that bass, bass, snare, crash, you're going to do that crash and bass, snare, and kind of like how we did in that first section. So it's like crash and bass, snare, and at the end of that, right? Right, so that's the part right before the 3 bass, bass, snare ends. So 1, crash and bass, snare, and so just that same part again here. So 1, 2, 3, crash and bass, snare, and so let me just go ahead and play that whole part for you really quick. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then that's pretty much the end of it before we go back into this fill. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then you can either do just the and by itself on that very last hit, so that crash and bass, snare, and, or crash and bass, snare, bass. Doesn't really matter. Or either one's fine. I think just the and sounds a little bit better. Kind of gives you that setup to get into the fill, which is going to be this. This fill is going to go like this. So pretty much the same thing as earlier. It's just going to be, instead of flamming on the snare, you're going to do flam with the snare in the floor. And then you add this little right left. Okay. Really slow. That's that. Let me just go ahead and show you guys that whole section now without music, and then we'll continue on. So starting from this 1 with the first fill, and then getting to the second fill. 1, 2, 3. Bass, bass, crash. 1. Bass and bass, snare. Bass, bass, snare. 2, bass, snare. 3, bass, snare, crash and bass, snare. Cool. Let me show you that a little bit slower now. 1, 2, 3. Bass, bass, crash. 1. Bass, bass, snare. 2, bass, snare. 3, bass, snare, crash and bass, snare, and then you're back into that hi-hat part. Cool. So this hi-hat part, same beat. So on that 1, that first measure, think of it 1, snare, bass, and bass, snare, a 2. So that double kick is going to line up with the first bass that we kick for that. So let's just do that together. Or 1, snare, bass, and bass, snare, a 2. So 2 and 3 are going to be played the same. 3. Okay, and when we get to 4, then it's going to change, okay? Let's just do all 3 of those really quick. 1, 2, 3. Cool. So in 4, so instead of kicking bass there, we're going to hit the crash with the snare. 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I like to add the bass there. 4 to make it just a little bit more punchy. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this one, it's a build up, right? You can do this on any of your toms if you just want to do the floor one. It's cool with me if you want to do high and floor, right? It's going to be 5 hits if you want to count it. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, crash, crash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you can count it 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right, and then you get back into the chorus part. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and then you're into the chorus. chorus part. Let's just play that chorus part now, and we'll check out how it sounds. So this chorus part is going to go like this. You're going to have kind of like a back and forth thing almost. Call it like a set. So one set of these is going to have double kicks in it. One of them is going to be the crash set, okay? So the first one is the double kick, and then it's always going to be the crash set after the double kick one. So double kick, crash, double kick, crash, double kick, crash, okay? So here we go. The double kick one sounds like this. Okay, one and snare, bass and snare, and bass, bass, snare, bass and bass, snare, and bass, 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 snare, crash, crash and snare, and bass, bass, snare, crash and bass, snare, and bass, 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 snare, crash. So it's very similar to how we did that pre-chorus, right? That very, very similar to how we did that. But we're just adding a double kick on that bass bass, like right where you would come in with those 3 bass basses. It's gonna be like bass bass bass, bass bass bass, or bass 1 2, if that makes sense. Because when we did that bass bass, it was 2 basses. So bass 1 2, or bass bass bass. Okay. Also important to note that bass, 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 that very first one you kick, that is by itself. So if you need to practice just that on its own, right, go ahead and do that. And then let me just go ahead and tell you a couple more things to watch out for. So those crashes are going to be on and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, right? So pretty much all the crashes here are going to be on ands, except for the ones that kind of reset the sets. So that's the double kick measure. So 1, okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So for the crash measure, it's going to start pretty much the same also. So starting with that and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. But this one, instead of crashing on like the and of 4 only, you're going to crash on and 4 and 1 and 4 and 1. So that whole like run goes and 4 and 1, or bass, snare, bass, 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 snare, bass, bass. So here's the crash measure. So let's just go ahead and go through the double kick one. So it's pretty much like the same like core beat that's happening through this whole part. So like it's just like where the crashes go, it can kind of get confusing. So just that crash measure again. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 3 and 4 and 1. 3 and 4 and 1. that's gonna repeat 4 times, like the same pretty much structure that I just showed you. So 1 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's like bass, bass, snare, bass, bass for that crash section. Just one more time. It's only gonna change on the second time through, where we just do the ride just the ride bell on it. Let me show you that one more time with the actual ride section now. So this is how the ride section is going to go of that. So imagine we're starting on 2, so 2 for the second set. So that's going to be ride, snare, ride, ride. For that second one, okay? So one more time, let's just do the second one. Nothing changes yet. Okay, the only thing I think is kind of optional here is whether you put the basses with the ride or not. Personally, I wouldn't do it just because I like the way, like, whenever you hit a ride bell that's like accented, if you just kind of leave it open. I know there's a lot of drummers out there, like Neil Peart from Rush, like whenever he's doing ride sections, he's like he's doing like all that kind of ride like stuff with the bass. You know what I mean? So if you put the bass with the ride, it's not the end of the world. It's not gonna really change how the song feels. It's just gonna add a layer of difficulty to it that I don't really think is necessary for like keeping the actual sound. Let me play one with ride and then one with ride and bass, and you guys can decide whichever one you want. If you want to do the one with ride and bass, just remember whenever you're hitting the ride, you're kicking the bass also. That's it, right? So here we go. Okay, so that was that one without the extra basses. Here's the one with the extra basses. So it's just, that's like that. Okay. How you get into that doesn't really change. 3 and 4 and 1 and 4 and. So that'd be 3 and 4 E and like that. You can even add like a third one if you wanted to, but I'm gonna leave that up to your interpretation of it. Just know that that second one is with ride bell. And just like that. So then 3 and 4 gonna be the same thing, right? 3. Except 4, there's going to be a fill. And this one's going to sound like this. So let me just go over 4 really quick. 4. So right where you would start that 3 and 4 and 1. Okay? So that and 1, you're going to do and 1. So it's bass, bass, tom, and bass, snare. 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 So let me play that fourth one all the way up to there. So this is basically just like the same other measures. just without the crashes, the same bass structure. Except when you do that and one, where you would regularly do and one, you're gonna do and one tom and, right? And one tom and bass snare, okay? Okay, so now let's add on that last section. Pretty much that same fill from earlier. It's that same fill, just with 4 on the snare. Cool, so let's go ahead and back up, do that whole 4th set one more time, and then we'll do the whole thing for you after that. So here we go. Back into the regular hi-hat beat with nothing special. Maybe you can get creative and add like double kicks. But honestly, that's all just the same beat, like bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare, bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare. Like I said, you could get creative. You can start throwing in some extra stuff. Kind of like a rule of thumb, you want like the second verse to kind of build upon the first one, and also the second chorus you want to build upon the first one. But in this case, they don't really do that. They kind of stay mostly the same in terms of like what you're actually doing. So there's not really a whole lot of like variation in the song. So you can just do that yourself, where you add your own variation, you put in your own things that you think sound cool. It's the great part about music, is that it's not set in stone. You can play the song however you want to. So, as promised, we're going to go ahead and go over that full part right now. We'll do it with music too, just so you can see what it sounds like and you can hear like the vocals and everything. But yeah, that's all 4 sets. To recap, a set is double bass and a crash together. That's one set. We're going to do those 4 times. So, the first one, going to be crashes. Second one is the ride. Third one is just crashes again. And then 4th one, no crashes, just the fill. So here we go. So I mean, that second verse, you can really kind of go like kind of crazy with it if you want to, or you can just keep it the same. I was just showing you some stuff, you know, doing a little bit of show-offery. Yeah, so that second verse, kind of like post-chorus kind of feel almost. You could amp up like you just saw me do. You can keep it the same. Doesn't really matter. It's going to be how you play it. But in the actual song, he does just kind of keep that the same bass, snare, bass, and bass, snare, 2, snare, bass, and bass, snare, 3, right? It's all the same. So that's going to be it for this song. That's pretty much all you really need to know for the entirety of it. A lot of it is rinse and repeat, like that verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and then that little post-chorus kind of thing. All of that's just going to keep repeating throughout the song. You can kind of hear that too. Nothing really changes. All the fills are pretty much the same. Their drummer does a really good job of just keeping that all like in their set parts, but it's put together really well, so it sounds really good, right? Sometimes you don't have to have like the most complicated of songs for them to sound really, really good. Sometimes you just need like 1 or 2 really good parts for that all to come together and it sound really nice. So yeah, just practice these parts. They just come back over and over again. I do want to note for all the people that are watching on YouTube, if you like this video, the entire song broken down kind of thing, then there are a bunch more just like it on our Teachable website. So the link will still be in the description for this video. You can click on it. Also, the link for the monthly membership will be in the description also. So if you want to check that out, I highly recommend it because you get all of the videos for the price of one. So might be something you guys are interested in. I would go check it out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys later.